Hello guys, welcome back to sanvfx. Today in this lesson, we'll be looking at creating a particle dispersion effect using Fumefx and Krakatoa. So here is a quick example on what we'll be creating. Play. Okay, here's the final play. So we are having this particle dispersing our text. Okay, we have got a little bit different example, just rendering different. We added a glow and kind of a golden feel to it. So if you guys have watched my previous tutorial on using Fumefx and Krakatoa, you must have the basic understanding on how to do this. Actually it's quite similar to the previous tutorial, but I just wanted to demonstrate an example that we can create using Fumefx and Krakatoa. So let's begin up by creating our text. Then let me name it sanvfx. I'll be using Arial black font. Okay, let me rotate it 90 degree just to make it straight. Okay, then let's go ahead and add in extrude modifier with amount 10. Okay, let me just apply a gray shader to this. Apply and get rid of this selection bracket with J key, and also I want to turn on my edge faces. Okay, and I want to go to shader. Okay, then now we'll be pressing the 6 key to get our particle view. From here we will be creating our particles. Okay, so I'll start up with an empty flow, then I'll add in a birth event, link them together, link them, and I'll add a position object so that I can generate my particles from my text. And the next one I'll be needing, okay, I think it will be fine for now. So let me just add in my text into my position object, and for the birth I want to start and add 0 and about 1000 particles. Okay, for 1400, that doesn't matter at all. So then now we have our particles surrounding our text. We will obviously increase these particles amount later on, but for now let that be there. And also I'll just turn off this PS source since we won't be needing it right now. The next thing I'm gonna do is create in my Fumefx container. Okay, pretty big container. Make sure that our simulation won't clip. Okay, I want a bit more height and pull it down a bit as well. I think a little more down. Okay, and a bit more length and height a bit more. Okay, that's fine. Then I'll create a simple source. And the thing here is I'm not going to burn in my text, so you can do that. You can also do that, but I'll be just using simple source. I'll explain how we can use the text in a bit more later, but I think that's not so important right at the moment. Okay. The idea here is to create a simulation which will give us the feel of like our text being dispersed. Okay, let me just put it right around here. It must be just the middle of our text, and that will be fine. Okay, then I want to animate my simple source. Just set a key here, and maybe at about 70 frames I want to move this all the way up to here. Okay, so now we have our source moving from one place to another. Then let me open up Fumefx UI and add in my simple source. Okay, then next thing I'm also gonna create a wind. I want it to be faced upward and with a strength of maybe 15, a bit of turbulence and frequency as well. Okay, and also add that into my Fumefx UI. Okay, right here. Let us go ahead. First of all, let me just turn off my fuel and also increase my resolution by decreasing the spacing. Not too much, maybe around 1.7 or something like that. Okay. Before doing a simulation, let us just change around our values quickly. Maybe 75 iterations. Cubic interpolation turn on. Just randomly 0.7. Okay, turbulence maybe 1.2, and bump my scale up to maybe 30, maybe even more, 33, around like that. Okay, and DDL to 5. That'll be fine. Let's go down here and increase my temperature to about 1000. Just giving it a nice swirling feel, kind of like that. So let us do a preview now. Okay, now you can see that our source is moving and our smoke is generating. It's moving upward. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Let us wait for a while until our simulation is. Okay, you can just see our simulation. It's looking pretty good. Okay, so what we'll do next is we'll be exporting our velocity channel as well. Okay, and then we'll again be simulating it. You can also go a bit higher this time, or you can leave it just right here. Let me go to 1.5 and okay, leave it to 1.7 so that it will be faster. Okay, let me simulate it, and we'll again continue after the simulation is done. Okay, we have done about 66 frames simulation, so we'll be just stopping it right here. So let me just stop our simulation. Okay, so we have got our nice smoke. Okay, it's looking pretty good. So the next thing we'll do is make our particle follow our Fumefx simulation. Okay, so as I said previously, you could have also used your text to burn of smoke, but for that you'll need to unwrap this text and then animate your ramp and then use Fumefx. So that's gonna be a little long process, and I'm really lazy to unwrap all these stuffs, so I just use a simple source so that it'll be pretty easy for us. Okay, so we'll move into particle flow, turn on our particle system. Okay. Then we'll add in our Fumefx follow, then add in our Fumefx container. Okay, now we can see that our particles is following the simulation of our Fumefx. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, then what we'll go to here in the PF source and reduce our viewport percent to 0.5 because we don't want to see a lot of particles in our viewport, which may even crash our scene. Okay, then I will increase my amount to maybe about 50,000. Okay, and also I'll change my color to something golden or yellowish color, not like this color. Okay, also change this to dots. Okay, then we'll create a light. I'll be just using an Omni light. You can use either target spot or any other lights, whatever you feel comfortable with. Okay, then let me set a proper viewport and bring my Krakatoa to front and set my Krakatoa as renderer. Okay, and then just quickly render out the scene. So now you can see that our text is filled with particles. So we have a little less particles at the moment, but we can always increase that. So let us try and quickly do a few test renders. So let me reduce my Okay, or maybe about 0.5, and this one too, maybe -2 will do fine, I guess. And also I want to turn on force additive so that it will allow our particles to self-eliminate. And let me go to a good frame where our particles are flying away. Okay, I guess this one's a pretty good one, and let me render it. Okay, so we are getting a little less particles, so let me just bump this up to 1 and do another render. Let me reduce this one then. Render. Okay, it's looking pretty good. So we need to bump up our particles to get a little more better result. So let me bump this up to 1 million. Okay, and do another render. Let's wait for a while. It's not responding, but I hope it will soon be responding, since our particle flow is updating, so it is taking some time. Okay, so our particles now are too bright, so now we can put it to -2 and then try our render. Okay, looking pretty nice. Okay, we just have a million particles at the moment. Okay, so what I want is I want my particles to be a lot of amount, around 25 millions or so, or maybe more. So if I bump this up to 25 million in our particle flow, then our scene will definitely crash, because p-flow is just one threaded and it cannot handle that large amount of particles. So what we will be doing is using the great feature inside Krakatoa about partitioning. I've also explained about all these in our previous tutorial using Fumefx and Krakatoa. So if you have not checked that out, you can just go back and check that out. Okay, so we'll just quickly be creating our partitions. We can just save it wherever we like. Let me create a new folder to partition. Okay, just save it right here. Then you can just pretty much leave all the settings into default. Okay, and go down to partitioning. There we can set the partition count. If you have the partition count to be 10, that means first of all, let me open up my p-flow particle view. Sorry, press the 6 key. Okay, so we have our 1 million particles right here. So if we set the partition count to 10, that means when the 10 partition is completed, after we load, we'll have 10 million particles, and then our scene can easily handle 10 million particles, and we can easily render them in less than a minute, I guess. Okay, so that's what this partition can do. You can just multiply your total amount in your particle view with this partition count. So since I won't be creating a partition again because it's gonna take a lot of time, as you have viewed in the preview, in this one, I actually used 5 million particles in my p-flow and then created a 5 partitions, so that makes 25 million particles, and it took me about 3 hours. So I don't want to waste 3 hours generating my partitions again, so I'll be using the same partitions for the rest of the purpose. But what you can do is just set the desired amount here. Do not put it too high, maybe about 5 millions. That will be fine, and then you can just set your partition count to whatever amount you want, and then hit this generate all partitions locally button. Then it will start to generate your partitions. Okay, so let me now reset my scene. Okay, and you can join me after you have completed the partitioning process. Okay, it's being reset. Oops, the scene has crashed. Okay, I have loaded my max again. So now what I'm going to do is create in my PRT loader. Okay, then I can load my previously made partitions. I have 5 partitions. Okay, I can just select one and then open. Okay, it take about 50 gigabytes of space and took me about 3 hours. So make sure before creating your partitions you free up some of your spaces. Okay, let's wait till it loads and add selected partitions. Initially I created partitions with 10 counts, but later on I saw that I don't have enough disk space to create all 10 partitions, so I just stopped at 5, so that this dialog has shown that from 6 to 10 it is not found because I don't have that data. But still I can load up to 5 partitions, so let me add my selected partitions. Okay, so now we have got our 25 million particles. Okay, and you can see it has got that dispersing animation. Okay, since I had set my particle color to golden in my preflow, it has inherited the same color, so that now we can just render it using Krakatoa. Okay, bring Krakatoa to front. Okay, and you force additive mode and just render it out. We'll do a few tests and then we'll final our render. Okay, it's too bright at the moment, so we can just reduce it to 1 and -3. This was the settings I used in the preview, I guess. You can do a lot more with Krakatoa, not just by playing around with these one settings. You can also play around with shadow, emission, absorption, and many more. So you can just go ahead, try out different ways to render out your particles. It's looking pretty good at the moment. Okay, so if you like this, you can just render out all the frames, and then later on we can open up After Effects and compose it, or we can color correct it. Okay, the next thing you can do is you can also add in a Krakatoa channel modifier and use magma flow to render your particles as well, to color your particles and so on. Okay, let me set my channel to normal. Okay, so you can see the normal. If you render out, you'll see this type of color right now. Okay, let me just render out. Okay, so here you can see the similar color. So what we can do is open up our material editor, and then we can also set up our colors, whatever you like, maybe dent, noise. Let me do a noise, and set my color to about red and blue. Just play around a bit more, maybe fractal as well, size a bit, increase the size up maybe, and you can just apply that color to your particles and go to magma flow editor, and you can update. Then you can see the colors into your scene. Now we can render again. Let's see how it looks. Okay, it's looking pretty nice, this one as well. In the same way, you can try with different colors and more different settings and get a very cool result, whatever you want. It was kind of like similar to previous tutorial, just demonstrating how we can create this text dispersing effect with that same technique. Okay, in next tutorial we'll be getting some more tips about Krakatoa and so on around magma flow. So you can do a lot more with Magma Flow as well. So right now you can just try with these few settings right here and play around and render your particles. Okay, once that we have done with Krakatoa and we have completed our rendering, from render setup you can just set a range and just render out your particles in whatever format you like. Then we can move into After Effects. So let me move into After Effects and show you quickly creating adding glows and so on to our rendered particles. So here I am in After Effects. Let me load up my render scene. Which one is, I guess this one is the, okay, let me open up and just drag it into making a new comp. So here I have my render out. It's looking good. So what we can do is go to a frame like this where our particles are flowing up, and then I can also duplicate my layer and then set my mode to add. So it will give us a little bit more glow to it, but it's too intense, so I can just reduce my opacity a bit. Okay, maybe about 25 or so. Okay, that's good. Now I'll create a new adjustment layer and add in a glow to it. Okay, so we have got our little bit of glow. A bit play around, maybe a bit more intensity and a little bit less radius. More. Okay, this way we can get some pretty cool result. Okay, kind of like glowing particles. I think I'll just delete this duplicate particles because it's creating too intense particle, so it is pretty fine like this. Also I'll add in a hue and saturation. Okay, from here we can control our brightness and contrast, similar type of like that, or if you want you can also change in your colors. Okay, you can change your colors as well. So you can do pretty much anything with your rendered particles in After Effects as well. So it's looking good in blue color as well. Okay, that's it. Hope to see you guys next time with more tips and tricks. For now, this is it. Thank you guys for watching and have a great time. Also don't forget to subscribe and hit like. Have a great time.